My wife's affair finally ended. And now she wants to pretend it never happened. 6 months before that conversation, she started coming home late on Thursdays. Always the same excuse, book club. She'd been talking about joining one for years, so when she finally said she found one, I was genuinely happy for her. Told her it was great that she had something for herself, kissed her on the cheek, and didn't think twice. The first few weeks felt completely normal. She'd come home around 9, talk about the book a little, pour herself a glass of wine, and go to bed early. I figured she was just tired. Long week, long evening out. I never pushed for details because I didn't want her to feel like I was checking up on her. She was my wife. I trusted her completely. But then I started noticing the small things. She began showering the second she walked in, not after settling in. The moment she got through the door, she was heading straight to the bathroom. I told myself maybe she just felt gross from being out. I told myself a lot of things in those early weeks. She stopped reaching for my hand when we watched TV. It sounds small, but that was our thing. 12 years of her tucking her hand into mine without even thinking about it, and then one night, it just wasn't there anymore. And she was on her phone instead. Then I heard her laughing in the bathroom at 1 a.m. Not a regular laugh, but that specific one she does when she's nervous and trying to keep it quiet. I knocked and asked who she was talking to. She said her sister, just catching up. Her sister called the next morning asking why she'd been leaving texts on read all week. I didn't say anything. I filed it away and kept watching. I'd learned a long time ago that when something feels wrong, the worst thing you can do is tip your hand before you know what you're holding. So I kept being her husband, made coffee, asked about her day, acted exactly the same. I even suggested we try that new restaurant downtown she'd been wanting to go to. She said yes. We went. She held my hand across the table. Inside, I was falling apart, but she didn't see that. Then one Thursday, I checked our shared location app while she was supposedly at book club. The pin wasn't near the library. It wasn't near anything she'd ever mentioned. It was sitting still outside an apartment complex 30 minutes from our house. I watched it for almost 2 hours. Then it moved, and 40 minutes later, she walked through our front door and told me the discussion went long because the book was so good. I said, I'm glad. Sounds like a great group. I sat with that for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of her coming home on Thursdays and lying to my face and then curling up next to me in bed like everything was fine. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how I did it either. But I kept documenting. Dates, times, location screenshots, everything. I built a folder on my phone she never would have found. Then I called a divorce attorney, walked him through all of it, and he told me I was doing exactly the right thing. Gather, stay quiet, then move. She must have felt something shift because 4 weeks later she just stopped going. No announcement, no explanation. She came home on a Thursday at the regular time, made dinner, kissed me on the cheek, and acted like nothing had ever happened. Like we were just a normal couple on a normal Thursday evening. After that, she got warmer, more affectionate. She started touching my arm when she walked past, suggesting weekend trips and date nights. Told me she felt like we'd been disconnected and she wanted to fix that. Said she missed us. I agreed with everything. Planned the trips. Kept adding to the folder. She thought the version of me that didn't know anything was still standing there with her. She had no idea he was already long gone. Then the divorce papers arrived. I set them on the kitchen table before she got home. No staging, just left them in the center, made dinner, and waited. She came in, dropped her bag, and stopped when she saw the envelope. She opened it slowly, like she already knew she didn't want to see what was inside. I watched her face go from confused to pale to something I didn't have a name for, something that looked almost like she was calculating her next move. She asked what this was. I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table, every screenshot, every location pin, every timestamp, 14 Thursdays mapped out like a trail that ended right here. She started crying almost immediately. Said it was over. Said it had already ended, that it meant nothing, that she had chosen me. Said she was choosing me right now if I would just let her. I let her finish. Then I looked at her and said, I know. You just didn't choose me while it was happening. And then I grabbed my keys and walked out. She called 4 times before I reached the end of the street. I watched her name light up the screen and kept driving, windows down. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel like peace. The kind that feels like a room after all the furniture has already been moved out. Did he make the right call? Or should he have heard her out?